I think it's time for the bourbon break. So today's bourbon is Stellum bourbon. I thought this was just a random bourbon I pulled off the shelf, but it turns out that Divya claims that she recommended this. So this one's on her if we don't like it. But Divya, what do you know about Stellum?
All right, Steve, since thank you for the call out. So Stellum bourbon is actually, I believe it's a sourced bourbon, and this is their website, really pretty. They are devoted to bringing American whiskey into the modern age with simple, elegant blends and single barrels selected with care and intention. If you go to the website, where this is the bottle that we're having today, this is Stellum bourbon finds its flavor in the tension of 3 Indiana bourbon mash bills, 2 of which are high rye, and the third being almost exclusively corn. Older barrels, both from Kentucky and Tennessee, are folded in slowly through a multi-step blending process. When you go to Total Wine, it says Kentucky from barrel craft spirit spirits. Stellum bourbon is a blend of 3 Indiana bourbon mash bills, and pretty much the same, description from the as the website. ABV is 57.49%. Taste is delicate vanilla, spice, honey, and complex. And that's all I have. What do you have to say about this, Steve?
So I find the description that they fold in delicately fold in other bourbons. It's like, really, you folded it in. No, like they're taking large jugs and barrels and vats of bourbon and they're violently mixing them together. So don't read into the hype. Yeah, so like I like the bottle. It's pretty. I saw it on a shelf and I was like, oh, that looks nice. I wonder if that's special. And from the website and the bottle, I think they spent a lot of time on marketing. I, of course, yeah, this always happens whenever I pick something off a shelf. I end up picking like a pretty bottle that ends up being sourced, and it's never like nearly as good as something when I actually do research. So moral of the story is do your research, because Stellum is fine. It's nice. So like for a quick tasting, I get like honey, some sweetness, not a lot going on in the nose, just like generally sweet and mild. And yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's good. It's sweet. It's got like a singular flavor. I don't get much rye out of it. I don't get much of anything out of it. It's just generally sweet. Finishes pretty short. I did some highballs with this, so I just mixed it with soda water, and that was fine. It tasted like mildly sweet bourbon. So yeah, it's fine. There's nothing special about it. There's nothing that you're going to be super excited about. But for the price, for like 55, just no. It reminds me of the Evan Williams single barrel, except for the Evan Williams single barrel is better, has more going on flavor wise, and then it's like half the price. So I would say, like, if you're drinking this, like, there's nothing wrong with it. But if you're looking for a good sipping bourbon to take home, then I would say, like, spend 5 minutes doing your research, and you'll probably end up with something like way better, like even Larceny, right, as a go-to, significantly cheaper, probably similar in flavor. So yeah, Stellum, it's fine. It's fine.
So as you can tell from the last episode, if it is more than half full, it's under 6 on a rating from 1 to 10. If it's less than a half full,
Yeah.
that's the barometer we're using. Question though, would you try their single barrel whiskeys or bourbons or
So $100 for a single barrel, that's super aggressive. Okay, so for $100, you can get some ridiculously good bourbons. I'm sorry. Or you could get gallons of pretty good bourbon. So it's really hard to justify something like that. No, I wouldn't do a sourced single barrel. If I had $100 to spend on bourbon, I would get and it really depends on what you can get in your area, but I'd probably get something premium from Evan Williams or Michter's, or even like a solid like super aged Maker's Mark. You can get a single barrel from Four Roses for like 60. So I don't see it. It's a pretty bottle though. They'll probably sell a lot because like when it's on a shelf, it's like, oh, this is fun. I like the blue label. I'm sure this is going to be good. So.
Well, I know this is going to be a little bit, I don't know, frowned upon maybe for this episode, but I've seen on specs the Glenmorangie Quinta Ruan, which is Scotch, of course, not a bourbon. That was like $45.
Yeah.
That's probably the best single malt that I've had.
Yeah. I was recently going through duty free and there was those, but then there was also Suntory in Japan has the cheetah, and they're selling a cheetah for 60. And so unless you have something truly special, it's really hard to justify something above $60. So
I would agree.
Thanks to our sponsor, Stellum. It's fine.
and Home Depot, please.
Yeah. Oh, and the chaos that is Divya's background. Today's episode is brought to you by the letter C, chaos. And that's been the Bourbon Break. What's next up on the breaches, Divya?
Okay. Steve.